In this video, we're going to enter some inventory transactions. The first thing that we're going to do is create a new warehouse. Double click on the new warehouse option. I can then enter the details. We're going to create a London warehouse with a warehouse code of LON and a description of London. We can also change the address details, etc. here if necessary. Obviously, if the warehouse is in London and we're in Manchester, we would usually do that. If I just save my London warehouse and then go to the stock total tab, I can see all the stock items and any that are in stock. Obviously, because this is a brand new warehouse, all the figures are set at 0. But in this stock total tab, I've also got a setup tab. And if I go in here, I can change things such as stock take days and when the last stock take date was. And what I'm actually going to do in here is add some stock take days for my handguns and bullets. So I'm going to add 2 days for my handguns and 14 days for the bullets. And then I'm going to save and close on my changes. The next thing I'm going to do is bring some stock into my London warehouse. So to do that, I do a stock adjustment. If I double click new stock adjustment, at the top here I can say whether it's going to be an input or an output. Now I want to bring some stock in, so I'm going to leave that as an input. And down here I'm going to enter my item details. So I'm going to bring 10 into stock and I'm going to bring them into my London warehouse. Now my London warehouse isn't appearing for some reason. If I just go and have a look at my warehouse a second, see if I can see why. It's because it's not active. I need to make sure it's active when I create a new warehouse. So if I go back into my stock adjustment screen and now try and select it, it should be there. Select my London warehouse, location 1 these are going to go into, and I'm going to bring 10 into that location. And the cost on these is going to be £30. Okay, so if I save that item, save that adjustment, so there I've got an adjustment, I get a journal created, etc. because obviously I'm bringing stock into the warehouse. If I close that and go and do another stock adjustment, this time I'll do an adjustment out of that warehouse, so I'll take some out. So again for my handgun, and I'm going to do it for my London warehouse again. And I'm going to take 5. So on the screen it says what the quantity was before I do this adjustment, how many I'm taking out, and what the quantity is after. So when I save that, that again gets an adjustment out reference, so I can identify exactly what happened. Now if I double click on the handgun hyperlink here to go into the item, what I should be able to see on the item ledger tab is for the London warehouse, I'll just close down the main warehouse there so it's not confusing it. I can see my adjustment in for 10, of which 5 are left in stock, and I can see my adjustment out for 5, which obviously explains why there is only 5 left in stock. The next thing I'm going to do is a stock take against my main warehouse this time. Just close these windows down. So I'm going to go into the new stock take item, new stock take option even, and I'm going to select the main warehouse as the warehouse I want to run the stock take for. In here I can do different types of stock take, but we're going to run a standard stock take. We could do one for select various locations, and we can do one for just items that are overdue, which obviously uses the number of stock take days which we looked at in the setup tab of the warehouse. I'm just going to do a standard one, and I'm going to do it for location 1. At that point it then selects all the items that are in location 1, and now I can go into the stock take values. It says I must save first. Into the stock take values tab, I'll just open this up on my screen, and I can now key in what the quantities that I've actually counted are in here. So what we're going to do, we're going to have 5 less of the bullets than were originally in, so we'll have 4980, and we can see there it has a -5 showing in the difference. And for our handguns, we're going to have 5 in stock. So there's minus 51 at the moment, so I'm going to key 5 in, and that's a difference of 56. So what I can do here is print the stocktake forms, ask me if I want to complete the stocktake. Whenever I save it, it asks me if I want to complete, and when I print it does save it, so it's asking me. So I'm going to say no to that. I don't want to complete it at this point, I just want to print it. And depending on what I want to do, I can either do it by item or location. I'm going to do it by location, just so I can see everything in location 1, and I'm going to preview that report off. Okay, there's my stocktake form for the location, so it prints all the details on there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just save and close this. It'll ask me again if I want to complete, and I'm going to say no, because I haven't finished putting my figures in, supposedly. So if I click no, what I can then do is come back at a later date or a later time, go into find stocktake, and open my stocktake back up again, go back to my stocktake values, and I can continue keying in the figures. You can see there it saved the ones that I put in before. So this time I'm actually going to say that I am completing it. So I click save again, I say yes to complete. What this will actually do is then do the stock adjustments in and out for the 2 items I've entered figures in, and if I look at the journal for them, we'll see that it's put it into 2 separate journals, an adjustment in journal and an adjustment out journal. And if I can look at both these journals and see that it affects the inventory control and confirm cost of goods sold. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is an internal stock movement. So this is just moving stock within the same warehouse from one location to another. And I'm going to move some of my 1 gigabyte of RAM from location 1 to location 2. I'm going to move 200 of them. So put 200 in there. And location 2 is going to be location